Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Yeah, yesterday I said I'd be back today for a quick one, and then I won't be back tomorrow. So how you going, Sherry? Out to lunch? Alex? Deb? Who else we got? Shannon, Randy. Good to see you guys. Okay, let's get on with it. Oh, you got to have a laugh. Okay, these two losers want to emulate Trump, but the only way is getting similar haircuts. But this person's replying to someone. It's Oz Crime News, replying to Stephen, who said, once you see it, it cannot be unseen. Yeah, they're trying to emulate his hair. That's the only thing they can do. That's all they got. No, it's in his actions, not just the way he looks, guys. Oh dear. Rob Boyd, Esquire, said, what does Lauren Sanchez see in Jeff Bezos? Money? Hello? Anyone else? Anyone else got any idea? Money. Oh, I know exactly why. Okay, Ollie London said, Lauren Sanchez, before and after. The former journalist is set to marry the world's third richest man, which I believe she just did, Jeff Bezos, this weekend in a lavish $50 million ceremony in Venice. Or she is. Since dating Bezos, Sanchez has sparked numerous plastic surgery rumours over her drastically altered appearance. She's never publicly acknowledged or denied the rumours. Oh, dear God, why didn't you leave it alone, love? Wow. Look at your eye. They're tiny now. They looked so good and sparkly before. What's wrong with you? And the lips. No, it doesn't look good. Be natural. It's beautiful. Okay. Madison Cawthorne said 3 years ago Justice Kagan said it just can't be right that district court judges could issue nationwide injunctions against a president. Now that Trump is in office, she just voted to keep nationwide injunctions in place. Total political hack. Oh, and by the way, the New York mayor has not been elected yet. I believe it's November. What has happened is the Democrats have run that that Muslim guy. I was going to call him Muhammad guy. The Muslim guy as their primary, okay? So that's who the Democrats are putting forward. Now, the Republicans better put someone bloody good forward, please. You can't let that guy get in, guys. So the primaries, he's won the primaries, so I believe that's for the Democrat lead, okay? And the other thing was my really bad take on Israel yesterday because I forgot what I was going to say. Well, I can explain that today because I found someone else who thought the same way, but I'll get to it in a minute. Nick Sautor said President Trump just gave the perfect answer when he asked whether or not the legacy media will give him credit for the peace deal. The media won't give me credit, but the people will give me credit. That's more important to me. Shows you exactly where he stands. The people are more important than the media. And look at this. Spitfire said, look at the media clamouring for President Trump's attention. I never saw this kind of energy or access with Biden. They're all yelling and sticking their hands up, and it's like, here's the teacher. This is the classroom. Oh, dear. Oh, that's funny. They can only get good views when they put Trump on anyway. We all know that. Clandestine said, holy shit, now I'm really going to blow your mind. Remember when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago and they posted pictures of some docs? One was dated May the 9th, 2018, the exact day Trump abandoned Obama's Iran deal. Then Trump confirmed the Biden DOJ were after docs about Iran. Trump shared a truth from Paul Sperry alleging that Biden DOJ were looking for info about Trump dismantling Obama's Iran nuke deal. Holy shit, Biden weaponized the DOJ FBI to try to steal the documents, proving that Obama and Biden committed treason. I think the Mar-a-Lago raid had a lot to do with the deep state trying to cover up their plan to let Iran build nukes. Trump knew the entire time. There you go, very interesting. Bad Hombre said this is Thomas Legro, the Trump-hating Washington Post editor and journalist, arrested and charged today with guess what? Yes, possession of child porn. These sickos are truly the enemy of the people. Get a good look at this one. Millstones, mate, millstones. Hello, someone, anyone. Capital punishment? Hello? I don't know. Oh, that's what I believe. Ian Miles Chong said Sky News apologises for President Trump's use of naughty language because the British have never heard the word fuck before. And it offends their sensitivities while they turn a blind eye to their daughters being raped by asylum seekers. No, this is the mainstream media that believe that. Okay? I'm sure the British people do not believe that. Anyway, let's have a little listen.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you want to respond to Iran?
Yeah, we'll just apologise for that language from the US President Donald Trump, who was speaking to reporters.
We basically have...
Oh, dear God. So they're apologising. It might harm your sensibilities. Oh, dear. Gunther Eagleman said, breaking, Trump just called for Natasha Bertrand to be fired for sharing the leaked intel report. Natasha Bertrand should be fired from CNN. I watched her for 3 days doing fake news. She should be immediately reprimanded and then thrown out like a dog. She lied on the laptop from hell's story, and now she lied on the nuclear site story, attempting to destroy our Patriot pilots by making them look bad when in fact they did a great job and hit pay dirt. Total obliteration. She should not be allowed to work at fake news CNN. It's people like her who destroy the reputation of a once great network. Her slant was so obviously negative. Besides, she doesn't have what it takes to be an on-camera correspondent. Not even close. Fire Natasha. There you go. Okay, Clandestine said, in retrospect, I think Trump-Elon public feud was 100% fabricated. Oh, no, you don't say. If Trump already had the deals in place with Saudi, Qatar, UAE back in May, and Trump knew he would have to pull off this manoeuvre, that would explain why Elon and Trump had their fight 2 weeks later and before Trump destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. Elon had to go back to the private sector and did not want to seem like he was affiliated with the up-and-coming military operations, which would be understandably bad for business. Elon had to distance himself from the administration for optics purposes, yes. I believe Trump and his team knew that they were going to strike Iran and staged the feud to create the illusion of distance between Elon and Trump, so Elon could make a smooth transition to the private sector. Elon's been extremely quiet throughout this entire 12-day war and military operation. It's not an accident. He's distancing himself from the situation, and rightfully so. Trump and Elon knew this was coming, cheeky bastards. Oh, dear. Watcher Guru said just in, President Trump said Fed Chair Jerome Powell is a stubborn mule and a stupid person. Yep. Funnily enough, I think a lot of the people who are Fed chairs were dumb. Well, no, not dumb, corrupt. Pretending to be dumb. Clandestine said the Dems said Trump was literally Hitler. He's going to start World War III. He's going to ruin the nation. He's going to kill us all. Since then, all Trump has done is stop wars. The Dems tried to destroy and kill the man, bringing world peace. Yep, they can try. Well, here goes the kookaburras in the background. Nick Sautor said breaking Trump's DHS is terminating temporary protected status for over 500,000 Haitians brought into the country by Biden. They have 2 months to leave the country on their own before ICE rounds them up. Big victory for America, especially the good people of Springfield, Ohio, whose town has been inundated by these people. Nick Sautor said just in, Dozier's Big Balls is back in the Trump administration, a White House official tells Wired. Let's go. Edward Big Balls Christine is now working full-time with the Social Security admin, identifying the rampant waste, fraud and abuse that plagues the agency. There he is, Mr. Big Balls himself. Oh, my goodness. Give me a sec, because I laughed. I've got a cough. Hang on. Okay. C3 said these are the people telling you President Trump did not obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Okay? The masters of propaganda are telling you that Trump did not obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Okay? This guy's probably down on his legs, sitting down on his legs, pretending he's in the middle of a flood. Okay, look at this guy. Come on. Can't be serious. Paul A. Zipula said, President Trump, we're cutting $1.7 trillion in this bill and you're not going to feel any of it. Your Medicaid is left alone. The only people losing Medicaid will be illegals and freeloaders, and that's how it should be. Go Trump. Jim Ferguson said, thank God Trump is intervening. Shame on our Stasi-like dictators. The anti-Trump mob is going apoplectic. Okay, I don't know, apoplectic, but their hypocrisy is staggering. Carol Malone, GB News. As Lucy Connolly sits in a British prison for a tweet, President Trump has stepped in to defend her freedom. And now the same elites who interfere in US politics are raging over his support for free speech in Britain. When Trump defends a mother and the UK government stays silent, you know who the real threat is? What this means, Britain is jailing citizens for their words, the US is now watching, and global leaders are calling out the hypocrisy. This isn't about one woman, it's about all of us, and Trump knows it. They call him a threat to democracy, but he's the one standing for your right to speak. There you go. Cat Turd said Trump calls out the panicans. The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panican. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous and patient, and greatness will be the result. Just wait for it. It's going to be so good. Okay. Oh, I don't even know how to say your name. Sorry, love. Neoberg? I don't know. Donald Trump just admitted exactly what I said when the ceasefire began. I saved Khomeini from a very ugly death. Now Trump is fed up because instead of showing a shred of gratitude, the regime in Iran is more hostile than ever towards America. There is a lesson here. Donald J. Trump said, why would the so-called supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, of the war-torn country of Iran, say so blatantly and foolishly that he won the war with Israel when he knows his statement is a lie? It is not so. As a man of great faith, he is not supposed to lie. His country was decimated. His 3 evil nuclear sites were obliterated, and I knew exactly where he was sheltered and would not let Israel or the US armed forces, by far the greatest, most powerful in the world, terminate his life. I saved him from a very ugly and ignominious death. And he does not have to say thank you, President Trump. In fact, in the final act of war, I demand that Israel bring back a very large group of planes which were heading directly to Tehran looking for a big day, perhaps the final knockout. Tremendous damage would have ensued and many Iranians would have been killed. It was going to be the biggest attack of the war by far. During the last few days, I was working on the possible removal of sanctions and other things, which would have given a much better chance to Iran at a full, fast, complete recovery. The sanctions are biting, but no, instead I get hit with a statement of anger, hatred and disgust, and immediately dropped all work on sanction relief and more. Iran has to get back into the world order flow, or things will only get worse for them. They're always so angry, hostile and unhappy, and look what it's gotten them. A burnt-out, blown-up country with no future. A decimated military, a horrible economy and death all round them. They have no hope and it will only get worse. I wish the leadership of Iran would realise that you often get more with honey than you do with vinegar. Peace. Okay, that's telling them. Oh, they're not the only ones. Nick Sautor said just in, President Trump just eviscerated the Iranian Ayatollah. Yes, we just read that one. And told him the US will no longer be lifting devastating sanctions on them. Okay. No burnt out, blown up country. Yes. Okay, we've already read that bit. Sadie said, remember when the libs said President Trump would create a handmaid's tale environment? Those same people just voted for this in New York City. Yeah, there's your handmaiden's tale. Oh, you got to love it when people accuse Trump of that. Oh, my goodness. Come on, guys. Terence K. Williams says Jasmine Crockett had the audacity to question Melania Trump's citizenship. Melania legally came to this country, built a career, spoke multiple languages and rose to First Lady without screaming, race-baiting or embarrassing the entire nation on live TV. Meanwhile, Jasmine Crockett shows up to Congress looking like she just left a rap video audition, eyelashes so long they block her common sense, and wigs louder than her arguments. She doesn't legislate, she turns every hearing into a low-rent TikTok tantrum. Melania has more grace and poise in her pinky than Jasmine's shown in her entire career. Jasmine's not in Congress to lead. She's there to throw fits, race hustle and hope MSNBC gives her a guest spot when she finally flames out. This isn't about visas, it's about envy. It burns her up that Melania, a legal immigrant, achieved more with elegance and silence than Crockett could ever dream of with her loudmouth theatrics. Yes, it doesn't pay to be loud and obnoxious. Okay, Cat Turd said Trump never stops. Can you tell I was searching for Trump this morning? I didn't want to search anything weird this morning. I just didn't have the heart after yesterday. Donald J. Trump said the real Republicans in the US Senate are working all weekend to finish our one big beautiful bill. We're on the precipice. Get that? Hello? Words mean things here. We are on the precipice of delivering massive general tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, permanently securing our borders, an even bigger and more powerful military. I rebuilt it during my first term and it's already the best, but we'll make it better. Unleashing our American economy, dominating the energy markets, creating jobs and getting money back to American families. The House of Representatives must be ready to send it to my desk before July the 4th. We can get it done. It will be a wonderful celebration for our country, which is right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And to think just last year we were a laughing stock. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So passing this beautiful big bill will also quickly start getting money back to American families. He's trying to give you the money back, and everyone's stopping him with this big, beautiful bill. And no one's mentioned that. They all mentioned the negatives of it, but no one really mentioned the goods of it. Donald Trump Jr. said, huge. The Supreme Court finally but aggressively rules that random district judges don't have the power to run the country and are not more powerful than the duly elected President of the United States. Donald J. Trump said, giant win in the United States Supreme Court. Even the birthright citizenship hoax has been indirectly hit hard. It had to do with the babies of slaves, same year, not the scamming of our immigration process. Congratulations to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Solicitor General John Sawyer, not sure if that's how it's pronounced, and the entire DOJ. News conference at the White House, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we've got Nick Soto. Just in, the Congo and Rwanda leaders have signed a peace deal at the White House after it was brokered by President Trump and Marco Rubio. This was an incredibly bloody war costing thousands of lives. The peace president strikes again. Award Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. Everyone's calling for that. And this one, Canada, I don't know. He's going to do the same to Australia. Not that I'm not worried about that. I'm just like, our leaders are fucking idiots. Gunther Eagleman said, holy crap, Trump just cut off Canada from any trade negotiations. Have fun in a recession. We are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. Ooh. Donald J. Trump said, we've just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They're obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us also. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they'll be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He always ends with, thank you for your attention to this matter. Yes, that's going to happen to Australia as well, because our leaders are insane, batshit crazy morons. The notice says Sydney MP Alex Greenwich has crashed out of X and deleted his account after threatening to sue a user who called him a silly goose. Greenwich, who is a homosexual, best known for suing Mark Latham for a tweet calling sodomy disgusting. Ah. Interesting. They're running now, are they? And this, okay, this is the most idiotic thing I think I've ever seen. Topher Fields said, the people who designed this roundabout in Sydney believe they're smarter than you and you should have to obey every road rule, another rule they ever come up with. Whenever anyone speaks of the experts, show them this video. That is not a freaking roundabout. Roundabouts are round. This is I don't even know what shape about it is, right? What in the fuck is this? Okay, lines here mean this person has to give way. Lines here means this person has to give way. And lines here means these people have to give way. What the fuck is going on with this thing? Have you ever seen anything like this? It's not a roundabout. I don't know what it is. This is the bureaucrats sitting there making ideas up for things, right? They have no freaking idea. A roundabout is called a roundabout because it's round. It's a turnabout. Exactly, MRH. How you going, MRH? I don't know what the hell that is. How you going, Lucette? Rod, Zal, Randy? Anyone else I've missed? Just checking. Okay. So there you go. That's not a roundabout. No, it's a turnabout, like MRH said, yes. David Wolf said, I quit vaccinating my dog. That's where I'm at. Yes, I've quit. I would not do that to any of my pets anymore. And that's where I'm at right now, okay? That's how long I've been awake for. I've been questioning these things for years. Okay? We are all born with an immune system. There's a reason. And there's a reason dogs and cats end up with cancers and tumours and all sorts of weird diseases, just like people. And it's exploded in the last 20, 30 years. Because I remember the big C being a hushed thing you rarely talk about in the 70s when I was young. I remember, yeah, it wasn't a very, common thing for people to get. But it's becoming more and more common, and younger people. Anywho, Rosita Diaz said the Republican Sam Mostyn, the Governor-General's remarks undermine the role of the Crown. Oh, this is interesting. This is our Governor-General here in Australia, right? Supposed to answer, work on behalf of the Crown, okay? It has been reported in the Sydney Morning Herald of June 24th, 2025, that journalist Jacqueline Maley interviewed the Governor-General, Her Excellency the Honourable Sam Mostyn, AC. In that interview, Miss Mostyn is quoted as saying, "But the King doesn't direct me and I don't seek his advice. It's the Prime Minister and the ministry I take my counsel from and that I work with." This statement misrepresents the constitutional role of the Governor-General, who is appointed by and supposed to serve as the representative of the King. While the Governor-General acts on ministerial advice in most matters, publicly distancing the office from the sovereign, especially with language such as "I don't seek his advice," is both constitutionally inappropriate and dismissive of the Crown's enduring role in our system of government. None of them can be trusted. Can we make Donald Trump the king so that we can have we can take advice from him instead? Because I really don't want it from King Charles either, sorry. Not my king. I don't want to take advice from him. He's a flip-flopping Muslim Christian. I don't know what he is. I'll check this next one out. My God, hang on, I'm going to have a sip of tea. I'm Menacing Muskrat. How you going? Okay. Undoom said, laugh my ass off. What? Any German men care to chime in here? If you are a new immigrant to Germany and wish to have gay sex with a German man, check out the German government's helpful website for instructions. What the fuck? Most German men will be happy to have gay sex with immigrants, but it's important to ask first. So they're not happy enough with them raping the women that they're going to end up doing the same with the men. This is weird. What in the hell? Check out the German government's helpful website for instructions. Holy shit. Okay, I don't even know what to say about that. Anthony Scalise said Australia's much needed far right storm is coming and I can't wait. Can it come quicker? Hello. Craig Kelly, Foundation for Economic something or other. Your Jew hatred has driven you insane. Worse, it's preventing you from identifying the actual cause of the problem and hindering your ability to be an effective voice in creating political pressure to cut migration rates. The people who's behind it, the excessive migration rates, are the Labor Party and Albanese. Look at the graph. No one else is to blame. They are doing this for two reasons. Firstly, to mask the failing economy and decline in GDP per capita. Otherwise, the media would be screaming recession, and it's almost impossible for a government to win an election during a GDP recession. Secondly, to gerrymander the Australian electorate, as Albanese knows that the majority of recent migrants are significantly more likely to vote Labor. The migration rates in Albanese's first 2 years are likely to result in a 2 to 3% boost for Labor at the 2028 election. You can blame some elements of the Jewish community, but not all, for pressuring politicians to legislate the hate speech laws recently rushed through Parliament. But don't let your hatred blame them for everything. And finally, just because fair-minded Australians don't share your Jew hatred doesn't make them Zionists. Replying to this person here. Veritas Vox. Kind of a bit like opposing mass immigration but not identifying who's behind it, right, Craig? You imply you're a Zionist and you call anyone who identifies Jews being behind mass immigration as a Jew hater. You're just as much a fraud in this case. Oh shit, no, not that one yet. Hang on. Let me have a cough, hang on. Okay. It's not all the Jewish people, right? And some of the Jewish people have escaped to Australia and England and that for a reason. Others, you can blame others, but I believe they're the ones who call themselves Jews, but are not. By the way, everyone mentioned here, 30 minutes in, is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything mentioned is theory until proven fact. Okay? Rob Smith says she's got to fucking hide. Jackie Lambie just said they need to get rid of him. Trump isn't stable. Can you believe this woman? This is that weirdo in our parliament who screams at everyone. Says she's Aboriginal. I don't know. She might be a tiny bit Aboriginal. Anyway, that's Jackie Lambie from Tasmania. Not to be confused with the other moron who says she's Aboriginal too. What's her name? Jackie Lambie and Lydia Thorpe. She was the one crawling at the Women's March, waving an Aboriginal flag and disrupting the Women's March. Okay, this one is just one politician who gets in there and says, I don't know who Elon Musk thinks he is. Oh dear. C3 said the face you make when your TDS has festered so long untreated. You leaked info about a secret military operation and the POTUS is calling for prosecution. Whoops, love. Yeah, there you go. Elon Musk is thinking about this one. Bill Clinton says congratulations, Zoran Mamdani, on your victory in yesterday's primary election and a well-run campaign. So Bill Clinton's saying. So Bill's all for Muslimising USA. I'm wishing you much success in November and beyond as you work to bring New Yorkers together to tackle the city's challenges and shape a stronger, fairer future. God, it'll be a hellhole. Okay, so without a doubt, you know which side Bill Clinton's on. We should anyway, because he's been to the island how many times? 27, 29, I don't know, something like that. The White Rabbit podcast said, breaking Washington, Trump will likely be given the option to serve a third term due to mounting evidence of 2020 election interference. Wouldn't that be interesting if he got a third term? Hey, Joanne, how you going? Good to see ya. Yes, very interesting. I would like to see that, actually. Trump get a third term. He got robbed in 2020. We all knew it. RM said, will more Australians take a stand against the unconstitutional ATO at the end of this financial year? More than 50,000 taxpayers are ghosting the ATO, the Australian Tax Office. Many have tax office debts of more than $100,000 that are older than 90 days and they collectively owe about $15 billion. But they aren't returning the tax office's calls, and I don't blame them. I really do not blame them. I really think more people should. Oh, if they can, okay? I know that your tax is already taken out of your wages before you even get it. But run your own business, don't. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay, Awakened Outlaw said, holy crap, this is awesome news if it turns out to be true. According to this gentleman and his contacts in Iran, the Iranian military has taken control of the country and is in the midst of a legitimate regime change. Better yet, they're in direct communication with the Trump team. Watch DJT be the one to finally bring peace to the Middle East. Incredible news out of Iran, apparently. But it's going to still be up to the people, not Trump, and not the USA. It is the Iranian military and its people who are going to have to vote. But I believe they'll have a fairer chance this time around. Paul A. Zapula said Democrat women of New York City meet the new wardrobe. Zoran Mamdini will mandate as he institutes Sharia law unless you choose wisely this November to preserve your freedoms. Oh, dear God. Oh, no way. You know, if I see women like, oh, I really just would like to take it off them, you know, but I mean, I'm not going to. I wouldn't do that. That would be assault, even though I'm not hurting them, but I'd like to pull it off them. Say, what are you doing? You're in Australia. Behave like an Australian, or if you still want to wear that or your man still wants you to wear that, maybe he should go home. Because seriously, fuck that. Nope. Nope. What do you think they wanted you to wear masks in 2020? They want you to get used to it. Having your face covered. The disrespected trucker said, I call this winning. What's this? General Electric Appliances announces a $500 million investment to relocate production from China to Kentucky. Sorry, I don't like the flashing on the screen. Like, it doesn't hurt me, but I know if someone has, what is it, epilepsy? It can trigger epilepsy on people. That's all we needed to know, really. Oh, shit. Can you just stop? Right, thank you. General Electric Appliances announces a $500 million investment to relocate production from China to Kentucky. GE's coming back. Live Action said breaking the Supreme Court has ruled that states have the right to defund Planned Parenthood. Major win for life. Yeah, they call it Planned Parenthood, but they're not planning anything except abortions mainly. Now we've got, what have we got outside? We had kookaburras a minute ago. Now we've got the magpies. Lots of rosellas. And I think cockatoos. Sydney Powell said, oh my goodness, this is horrific. God bless him for the courage to tell the truth. What's this? Real Roberts said, this is one of the most shocking testimonies ever delivered in Congress in United States history. Okay, should I let him say it? Okay, let's go. I'll let him say it.
I state without reservation that the United States federal government is the world's largest child sex trafficking organization in modern history. The probability that thousands of these UACs are being raped at this very moment is 100%. Chairman Higgins, Ranking Member Correa, Chairman Bishop, Ranking Member Ivey, and the members of the subcommittee, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the evil of child trafficking caused by the open border policies under President Joe Biden and his administration. I served in the United States Border Patrol for 24 years until I retired as a Deputy Patrol Agent in charge in San Diego sector. I worked under 5 presidential administrations, and only one president secured the border, President Donald Trump. Border Patrol agents went from working to being supported by the greatest border president in American history to the worst, President Joe Biden. My last year in the Border Patrol was Joe Biden's first year in office. On his first day in office, I watched in disbelief as 94 executive orders cascaded down from Washington, D.C., obliterating every immigration policy that had been provided the most secure border in America's history. Border Patrol agents were forced to carry out unconstitutional orders that violated every law in the Immigration Nationality Act. President Biden, through Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, created policy out of thin air, ignored federal immigration law, and facilitated the largest mass invasion into America that the world has ever seen. The United States of America will have spent hundreds of billions of dollars in 4 years to fund the needs of over 50 million illegal aliens that populate our nation. Between 1 in 6 and 1 in 7 residents in America is an illegal alien. America has suffered the greatest demographic shift in modern history. After serving in the United States Border Patrol for 24 years, spending a year researching and writing a best-selling book entitled Invaded, The Intentional Destruction of the American Immigration System, and filming 2 documentaries, I state with complete certainty that Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas intentionally, strategically, and purposely weaponized illegal immigration and used it as a tool to fundamentally transform America. Inside this invasion, the unspoken evil of child trafficking, and more specifically child sex trafficking, has flourished. At the end of this current administration, the number of children trafficked will have grown to over 550,000 unaccompanied alien children known as UACs. This horrific number of children will have been arrested, released into America, and then lost. To put this into context, during President Trump's last year in office, Customs and Border Protection arrested 30,557 UACs who were accounted for and not lost. Conversely, in the first year of Biden's presidency, CBP arrested 147,975 UACs, most of which are unaccompanied for and lost. In 2023, Congressional Hearings Health and Human Services Javier Becerra and Director of Office of Refugee Resettlement Robin Marcos forced to admit that their agency had no contact with over 85,000 UACs. They were lost. What did DHS, HHS, and ORR do to correct this humanitarian disaster? Nothing. In fact, all three agencies created further policies and procedures to increase the efficiency of moving UACs from the border to the interior of the United States to unknown and unvetted sponsors. Unaccompanied alien children were being handed off to total strangers. Then they disappeared into the darkness of labor and sex trafficking. In fact, a year later, in August of 2024, the Inspector General, with oversight over DHS, issued a report stating the number lost UACs was not 85,000, it was over 320,000. My business partner, Ryan Matt, and I spent 6 months traveling across America, filming a documentary titled, "What is Treason Trafficked?" The evil of child sex trafficking is difficult to digest and understand. However, after conducting numerous interviews with officers, agents, and whistleblowers from every alphabet agency and department, it was made clear to us that the federal government knowingly and actively facilitated these criminal acts.
There you go. Yep, death penalty. Come on. For that kind of stuff, those poor kids. And they are kids from all over the world. Wow. Okay, Joshua Reed, Red Pills TV, said Trump's satirical farewell to Netanyahu, the Bugs Bunny obituary part 2. Donald Trump posted a lengthy and passionate defence of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Many read it as yet another fire hose of Trumpian hyperbole. But look closer. Underneath the praise, Trump wasn't propping Bibi up. He was signalling his end. As I've been saying, this is a two-way regime change. Let's break it down. The greatest warrior in Israeli history? Really? Trump claims Netanyahu was a warrior like perhaps no other warrior in the history of Israel. Greater than King David, who took down Goliath. Greater than Moses, who defied Pharaoh and split the sea. Greater than the Maccabees, who reclaimed the temple. Who reclaimed the temple. Trump knows his audience. This wasn't reverence, it was a satire, a mocking inflation of legacy right before collapse. The Bugs Bunny moment. Then Trump slips this in. Concerning cigars, a Bugs Bunny doll, and numerous other unfair charges. A Bugs Bunny doll? That's not a defence, that's a punchline. In Israeli protest culture, Netanyahu's long been portrayed as a smug trickster. Bugs Bunny in a suit, outwitting the law, manipulating the media, always escaping accountability. Trump didn't protect that image, he memed it. The real charges behind the cartoon, Netanyahu's reality, is far more serious. He's on trial for corruption, fraud and a breach of trust, facing ICC war crimes allegations for targeting civilians, starving populations in Gaza and blocking humanitarian aid. Star of a banned documentary, The BB Files, featuring leaked interrogation footage. Responsible for a failed political gamble via Iran strikes that violated international law and failed to unify his coalition. Even Israel's Knesset nearly dissolved under his leadership. The vote failed by just 8 seats. That temporary shield expires in 6 months, and Trump knows Bibi won't survive the next round. I saved Bibi Netanyahu, Trump ends with this line. It was the United States of America that saved Bibi Netanyahu. This gives a new tone to saving Israel for last. Translation, I made you, I saved you, now I'm letting you go. This is a classic Trump play. Inflate someone's legacy, align yourself with their greatest moments, then an exaggerated tribute, bury them. He did it with Fauci, with DeSantis, with Pence, now with Netanyahu. The satirical eulogy. Trump's post reads like a eulogy masked as a MAGA salute. It's Shakespearean slapstick, a warrior on trial over cigars and a cartoon rabbit. A once dominant figure brought down by corruption and hubris. A leader who, in trying to preserve world power, exposed just how hollow that power had become. Trump didn't just praise Netanyahu, he performed the final act of BB's political obituary. There you go. Very interesting take. Okay? And I was thinking the same thing. That's what I had forgotten yesterday. You know how he wished Epstein well, like, you know, Bill Clinton as well, you know, said they got some trouble coming up, but, you know, he does that. It's like he's kind of making fun of them for it, okay? But people take him very seriously. Even I did yesterday. I was sitting there going, what the hell, as he said? What? Defiant Els said, Jamal Bowman, the reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every... How do you indirectly call someone the N-word? Where? Example. Hello. Oh, dear God. Isn't that the guy that pulled the fire button in Congress that day to try and stop Trump from passing something? I don't know. I'm wondering how you indirectly call someone the N-word. Nuclear. No, I'm kidding.
Catholic
And the
pro-life
problem
ministries
is
bombed.
we are not dealing
Catholic
with
pro-life ministries
America's
bombed. You're
original
right.
sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You
the... where are
can't
the
be calm
assassination
about
attempts?
this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart
I'm
disease...
white, I can't comment on
Listen
it.
to what I'm
Is that
saying.
what
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist,
obesity
I can't
and
comment on it.
diabetes are bigger in the...
We've all got fatigue from all of this LGBTQ, racism, xenophobia, whatever, being bigot. Oh, look, we're all bloody exhausted from it, mate. He's trying to keep it going the hardest he can, seriously. Elon Musk said people who have kids do need to have 3 kids to make up for those who have 0 or 1 kid or population will collapse. Mario Norfall said humans need 2.7 kids per woman to survive. We're not even close. Scientists now say 2.1 kids per woman won't cut it. 2.7 is the real number needed. You can't have 2.7 children, so just have 3, okay? Needed to avoid long-term extinction. Right now, the US is at 1.66 and most rich countries are even lower, including Italy at 1.29 and Japan at 1.30. The new math factors in randomness like who never has kids or how many girls are born. Elon's been warning about this for years, but most Americans still aren't losing sleep over it. If things continue as they are, humans have their days numbered. Low birth rate was the primary factor in the fall of Rome and all civilizations that enjoyed an extended period of prosperity with no serious external threats. Whoa. Shockingly overlooked by most historians. Wow. Interesting. Okay, the Yorkshire lass said a few days ago, didn't the NHS announce it's rolling out the weight loss jabs to patients in England? Now news is coming out that the weight loss jabs are causing health issues and even death. And apparently it's Ozempic, injected into the stomach or something. Yeah, when will people learn you cannot inject health? Not by that means anyway. Yeah, possible pancreatitis and possible blindness. And it is. It's from they're injecting Ozempic into their stomachs for some reason. Okay. Oz Integrity, back to Australia. Breaking, Karen has infiltrated social media platforms, including X. New features have been added to report illegal content in Australia. Exactly what is illegal and when was Labor going to tell us they've kicked off their censorship campaign? Australia has fallen, SOS. Now, They're gathering info, encouraging, promoting, providing instructions or sharing strategies for self-harm. Sensitive or disturbing media, graphic content, gratuitous gore, adult nudity and sexual behaviour, violent sexual conduct, bestiality, necrophilia, media depicting a deceased individual. Why are you putting media depicting a deceased individual in necrophilia and bestiality and violent sexual conduct? Impersonation, pretending to be someone else, including non-compliant parody fan accounts. Oh, really? Violent and hateful entities, violent extremism and terrorism, hate groups and networks. Well, anyone on the far right, they call that. They call them hateful entities. Illegal content in Australia. This form is provided to enable an Australian end user to report illegal content accessible in Australia. You've got to be fucking kidding me, don't you? Oh, dear. Libs of TikTok said Los Angeles Times coaches LA mums who have household staff like nannies who are in our country illegally on how to protect them from ICE. She suggests to give them paid leave and pay for their taxis. Listen to this bullshit. Now, this is the Los Angeles Times, right? This lady. Listen to this.
Do you have a nanny or other household worker? You might be unsure how to help them right now as the ICE raids continue across LA. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty right now, so we spoke to domestic employer nonprofit Hand in Hand to get you some answers. First off, know your rights. Remember that ICE cannot enter your home without a warrant signed by a judge unless you give them permission. And make sure your employees know their rights too. They have a right to remain silent and contact an attorney. Limit risk where you can. A lot of nannies are taking a big risk by going to work right now. Consider offering them paid leave. And if you can't, you might offer to accompany them to a bus stop or pay for a taxi to help them get to work safely. And don't forget, domestic workers are entitled to 5 days of paid sick leave. Be flexible. A nanny might not feel comfortable taking their usual trips to the park or the library with your child. Talk to them about what they need to feel safe. Start the conversation. Nannies might not feel comfortable asking for what they need, so don't be afraid to ask. If you don't know your nanny status, don't ask for it. But don't be afraid to tell them how you feel about what's unfolding. That may give them the confidence to confide in you later. Learn more about how childcare workers are faring amid the ICE raids at latimes.com.
Pay normal people a normal wage and stop bloody employing them. No, because they get cheap labour from them, see? Tell me
a nanny or other household worker.
Tell me who still believes in a slavery type thing. Yep, okay. Old soldier said climate change? ABC News here in Australia said a spate of fishermen presenting to a small regional Queensland hospital in agony with gaping wounds sparked an investigation into the spread of a deadly infection, and they've removed it. No, study finds climate change is driving spread of flesh-eating bacteria. Dear God. The news is absolutely moronic. For fuck's sake, climate change is purportedly responsible for every negative thing these days. The parrot has more chance of causing it than climate. Climate change is also responsible for my sore shoulder. Yeah, climate change is responsible for me being sick, okay? Coming up next on the ABC, climate change blame for stubbed toes, paper cuts and bad coffee. Stay tuned, the apocalypse is moist. It's a good one. Oh dear. They swabbed my ass and it came back positive. I've got climate change. Holy shit. God, they're stupid. Oh no. Okay, Mega Voice said breaking federal police officers are fed up and decide to rush out and arrest anti-ICE rioters in Portland, Oregon. I voted for this. Go, guys. Arrest the idiots. I swear some of these protesters are mentally ill and they don't even know what they're doing. There. Climate change. Hey, blame it on climate change, okay? Blame it on climate change. Why federal, what is it? Federal police officers arresting the anti-ice rioters. Blame climate change. Okay, this one. V responded to herself. Australia. I thought we voted no to the racist voice. Aboriginal group awarded native title over a 356,345 hectare area. The federal court on Monday formally recognised the Kabi people, never heard of them, as native title holders for the land that includes Noosa, which is pictured here, Noosa, okay, Bribie Island, Gympie, Maroochydore, Caloundra and Mudjimba Island. Since we're being shafted straight in the back, I think we should make a deal with Russia to take over the West and aim the missiles at Canberra, Washington, EU Parliament, UK Parliament, Canada Parliament, Martha's Vineyard and the Hamptons where the pigs go to unwind. We should also give Russia the map locations of the globalist bunkers. Whoops. I agree, except just make sure Trump's not in Washington when he does it, then you're fine, okay? Or the good people who are in Washington. Okay, Lauren Witzke, I don't know how to say that. Invader food cart vendors are disappearing in Southern California thanks to ICE. American teens are moving back in to take their place. Well done, guys. See, this is what kids should be doing. Look at this. Yum. Actually, they looked really good. I like how, what are they wrapping the hot dogs in? Was that bacon? Yeah, get the kids out with their lemonade stands and things like that. Eastern Christians said video footage captured Christian convoy driving through the streets of Syria, honking horns, waving crosses and chanting with pride. The scenes reflected a strong show of unity as communities came together in faith and resilience. There you go, in Syria. Christians have stood up and come out. Well done, guys. Don't let them take you over. Okay, Old Soldier said Albanese cancelled a squadron of F-35s, cancelled hundreds of armoured vehicles, yet to order a single warship, cancelled satellite systems, refuses to increase defence spending. Albo is basically saying he won't defend the country, let the USA do it, and the US is not going to defend Australia, you moron. Yeah, I believe Albanese is softening up Australia for a communist Chinese takeover. After all, he's a rich communist who'll be happy to be a puppet leader. Yeah, a lot of people think he's working for the CCP. Okay, anyway, and Vigilant Fox said 10 shocking stories the media buried today. 10, Tucker Carlson guest reveals CBS banned reporters from saying the word riot during George Floyd protests. Tucker was stunned. Actually, he said. Former CBS reporter Liz Collin confirmed, right, she said. You could not use the term riots at all in your reporting, just the way we would control the language. Collin added that WCCO Minnesota, CBS, mandated half the people we interviewed had to be non-white or from a protected class. That's ideological discrimination disguised as journalism. Tucker couldn't believe it. Boy, I can't imagine when they do go bankrupt. Will you text me just so I can celebrate? I really hope they go under soon. Freedom, a woman this should be more. Yeah, there you go. 9, Dr. Scott Gottlieb says if RFK Jr. forces vaccine manufacturers to remove their aluminium adjuvants, you'll see a lot of vaccines potentially come off the market because there's no good alternative. And I remember people saying they don't put aluminium adjuvants in there anymore. Yes, they do. Because if they didn't, a lot of their things would come off the market because there's no good alternative, okay? There you go. Socialist Democrat Zoran Mamdani, I still can't say his name right, pledges to root out bigotry across NYC with an 800% increase in funding for hate crime prevention programs. Yeah, that'll be against Muslims. Yet net immigration just turned negative for the first time in 50 years. Professor Stonge reports by sheer coincidence blue-collar wage growth also hit a 60-year record. On the ground, we're already seeing massive wage gains and better conditions when companies replace illegals with Americans. Follow Professor Stonge for more economic insights you won't hear from mainstream media. Number 6, RFK Jr. exposes the dangers of fluoride on Fox News. There's a direct correlation between the amount of fluoride in your water and your loss of IQ. Even small increments of fluoride causes IQ loss, particularly in babies and pre-birth if the mother is exposed. Today we have fluoride in our toothpaste. We have it available in mouthwash. You can get it. But there's no systemic benefit when you drink it. Fluoride reduces bone density. It calcifies your thyroid. It ought to be up to the parents. The government shouldn't be saying you should take a neurotoxin. Jen Psaki unintentionally exposes the fake news. Psaki, CNN, New York Times, and NBC News have all reported that nuclear sites weren't destroyed, but Trump only cares about headlines and not about facts. Hey, Jen, will you be circling back on this? Because you ain't no circle back, girl. 4, AOC's Bronx Girl Act just exposed as a total fraud by Republicans sharing school yearbook photo. RFK Jr.'s new ACIP vaccine panel votes against flu shots with thimerosal. Kennedy spent decades fighting to get thimerosal, a compound containing mercury and known neurotoxin, out of the vaccines. Thimerosal was phased out of childhood vaccines in the early 2000s, but it's still used in some flu vaccines. Today, ACIP voted to recommend only single-use dose flu shots that are free of thimerosal. Carolyn Levitt exposes how Trump stopped Iran while Obama-Biden bankrolled them. And Press Secretary writes Barack Obama and Joe Biden sent pallets of cash, American taxpayer dollars, in a failed attempt to buy the Iranian regime's compliance with a weak and ineffective deal. On the other hand, President Trump sent American warplanes to destroy Iran's ability to produce a nuclear weapon. And number 1, President Trump just announced the US has signed a trade deal with China. Huge legacy media have been telling us this was impossible, and India is next, Trump says. And the Vigilant Fox says, bonus one, Matt Gaetz secretly recorded on flight. Private text to his mum about Trump, Iran leaked. Remember, these wars are always popular at first, but history turns. If you'd like to spend time worrying about the career or financial well-being of your children, perhaps consider devoting that energy to the one who... Oh, well, okay. Oh, yeah, and bonus 2, the deadly salt myth that fooled the world, which I've already gone over. Bonus 3, instant regret hits Bernie Sanders as Joe Rogan interview backfires spectacularly. Bonus 4, new peer-reviewed study suggests that certain procedures can lower your fertility. Bonus 5, ban the sleep drug so effective it could become public enemy number 1. What's that? I want to know. If you thought what they did to ivermectin was bad, wait till you hear what they did to this drug. Did you know modern sleeping pills disrupt healthy sleep, making you 2 to 5 times more likely to die? There was one prescription sleep aid that actually worked, but it was so cheap and effective the FDA launched a 10-year campaign to take it down. It's the ivermectin of sleep. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it wreaks havoc on virtually every process in the body. Not getting adequate sleep destroys your memory, wrecks your metabolism, increases your risk of cancer, makes you more likely to die from heart disease and more. And here's the kicker. Some sleeping pills don't fix this, they make it worse. They sedate you instead of restoring real sleep, and that disruption is part of the danger. It's really serious. What's terrifying is that most of today's sleeping pills are actually sedatives, and those are the kind that make sleep problems even worse. You're not getting better sleep, you're just being fooled into thinking you are. Studies have shown that these pills sedate the brain and block the natural sleep cycles our body need to heal and recover. That's why people who take them are 2 to 5 times more likely to die. Sleep is healing. If you're not sleeping, your body has no time to do important work that it keeps it functioning. That's pretty scary. Not only that, if I'm really tired, you know what? It's like I'm drunk. If I don't sleep, it's like I am, plastered. What no one seems to remember is that it was one drug that actually worked, and you probably know what happened next. Big Pharma was terrified. Why? Because they don't profit from people who heal in their sleep. They need lifelong customers. So they launched a full-blown attack on a drug that was safe, restored natural sleep, and reversed chronic illness. And it wasn't even addictive. Oh. What was it? GHB, which is short for gamma hydroxybutyrate. If you thought what they did to ivermectin was bad, wait till you hear what they did to this drug. I've heard this before, actually, that GHB has some good uses, but you've got to be careful. No, it's not the date rape drug the media told you about. That was the cover story. GHB's been successfully used in Europe since the 1960s to help people sleep, heal and recover from trauma, addiction, and even neurodegenerative diseases. Take it with a grain of salt. As always, ask your doctor and see doctor if pain persists, okay? And they'll tell you it's bad. And when it hits the US markets in the 90s, patients were experiencing what one doctor called miraculous recoveries. That's great news and something to celebrate. What did the FDA do? They banned it. The FDA launched a fear campaign, not unlike what they did to ivermectin, working in lockstep with the media to stir up public hysteria. They used cherry-picked case reports to frame GHB as a dangerous drug used by criminals, and then they labelled it a Schedule I drug, or Schedule I drug, more restricted than cocaine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bookmark this one for the Medical Talk with Timmy on Rumble. Hopefully Timmy can join. I forgot to message him yesterday. Shivers. Okay. Bookmarks and then put it over to Medical. Okay. Because I wouldn't mind asking Timmy about that one too. Oh, hang on. Yep. Mega Resource said, freedom. A woman decides to free herself from slavery on live TV. Okay, there's music, so I'll turn that music off. See, while others are putting it on, this woman is taking hers off. Look how beautiful she is. And she's dressed nicely. She's not dressed like, low-cut top or anything. American Warrior for Christ said this law is still in effect. Communist Control Act of 1954. Long title, an act to outlaw the Communist Party to prohibit members of communist organisations from serving in certain representative capacities and for other purposes. Acronyms, CCA, enacted by the 83rd United States Congress, effective August the 24th, 1954. So the New York City mayor, the one who's running for mayor, the Muslim, not allowed. Not allowed. Raymond McCowan said Gerard Henderson goes on Peter Credlin, tears strips off Albanese like I've never heard before. He sliced and diced Albanese. During the very next commercial break, Albanese comes down with COVID. A coincidence, probably. No. Raymond McCowan said Albanese claims to have COVID. I'd like to see the doctor's report where he's recovering, somewhere warm. What self-respecting virus would go near Albanese? And again, and apparently he just did that and he hasn't got it anymore the next day, he hasn't got COVID anymore. Okay, hey Black Hat Music, how you going? Good to see ya. Anyone else I've missed? I don't know, but hello anyway. Kylie B said Albanese hugs while others look away. Oh dear, how uncomfortable. I think Albanese likes this little man because he's littler than he is. Your boyfriends, are you? Is that your boyfriend, Albo? Because we know he's gay. We know he's not straight. He's got a pretend girlfriend. Professor Rogers speaks for I don't know what he speaks for, but anyway, more and more Australians are having their power cut off because of the cost of living crisis. Albanese has made Australians second-class citizens in their own country. And this is when the shit hits the fan. Someone's got a grill on the toilet. They've lit a fire in there. They're barbecuing their meat patties and they've got ice in their drinks in the back. Okay, let's see what Albo's got to say, moron.
And we dined, indeed, at the lunch on some fantastic crayfish. And we dined, indeed, at the lunch on some fantastic crayfish.
I bet you did. Can't even afford that shit. No, I don't think any Australian can at the moment. I don't know. I'm yet to find one. Raymond McCowan said Albanese's betrayed Australia. Albanese's taken large amounts of funding from the Defence Forces. Albanese's cancelled an order of F-15 aircraft. Albanese's cancelled minesweeper ships, frigates and destroyers. Albanese's not building one ship. We are 20,000 short on manpower too. God help Australia. Seriously. Mark Rowley said the White House has again called on Australia to increase its defence spending, and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has again refused to budge. Karen Levitt, Donald Trump's press secretary, said the recent move by NATO members to raise, I think I read this yesterday, didn't I? No? Okay, this is another one then. NATO member states to raise defence spending to 3.5% of their GDP should be a model for Australia. If our allies in Europe and NATO allies can do it, I think our allies and friends in the Asia-Pacific region can do it as well, she told reporters today at a press conference. Her comment is the latest from Trump's administration, which has been heaping pressure on Australia to lift defence spending from the nation's current rate of 2.3% of GDP. Albanese today said Australia would not be swayed further. We have lifted our spending, he said. We are providing for our defence investment, including $57 billion of additional investment. I have said very clearly we will invest in the capability Australia needs, which he doesn't even know what Australia needs, by the way. Defence Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles announced in April last year that federal government would invest an extra $50.3 billion into defence up to 2034. The announcement took Australia's defence spending from 2% of GDP to 2.3%. While most NATO members did agree on Wednesday to raise their spending to 5% of GDP, Spain broke ranks to reject the US's request. In a letter to NATO's Secretary-General, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez wrote that committing to a 5% target would not only be unreasonable but also counterproductive. It would move Spain away from optimal spending and would hinder the European Union's ongoing efforts to strengthen its security and defence ecosystem, he wrote. Who cares about the European Union? Australia may not have agreed to the 3.5% benchmark, but it's made payments for US submarines under the $368 billion AUKUS Pact. The Pentagon confirmed the US was reviewing the trilateral agreement earlier this month, putting the future of the deal in question. Miles played down the implication of the review, pointing out that another similar process recently took place in the UK and ended with a renewed approval for the agreement. Yeah, because they bent to Trump, okay? Albo hits back at US calls to lift defence spending. We won't pay any more. Yeah, Trump will tell you to go kiss China and Indonesia's butt, you snivelling little weasel. Jim Ferguson said breaking rumours Julian Assange seeking meeting with Trump to expose deep corruption. Whispers are growing louder. Julian Assange, now a free man, is reportedly reaching out to President Trump with a simple offer. Let me speak, I have more to reveal. Allegations point to corruption buried deep within the Obama and Biden administrations and key Democrat elites in Congress. This isn't just a meeting request. It could shake the foundation of the swamp. What this could mean: the man who exposed war crimes and classified secrets may still be holding explosive files. Assange may now see Trump as the only leader willing to listen and act. If true, this meeting could make Watergate look like child's play. Truth has a way of resurfacing, and it doesn't care who it burns. If Assange really has the receipts, will Trump open the door? I believe so. Okay, Lyle Shelton said we can't leave Kirralie on her own. Family First Party said Aussie mum in court for saying a man is not a woman. I've got a cough, sorry guys. I've noticed much less coughing today. Okay. We can't leave Kirralie on her own. Aussie mum in court for saying a man is not a woman. Kirralie Smith is back before a judge, not for a crime but for telling the truth. Saying a man is not a woman now lands you in court in Australia. Free speech is on trial. First Kirralie, then Lyle Shelton. Next, you. While Labor and Liberals sit on their hands, Family First stands with the brave will never stop fighting for truth, freedom and biological reality. It's time to say enough is enough. Donate to Kirilee's legal defence at the LBRY website. Share if you stand with Kirilee. This week, courageous Australian woman Kirilee Smith was back in court for simply stating a biological fact: a man is not a woman. The LBRY spokesperson's ongoing legal battles, including an appeal over apprehended violence order and an ongoing vilification case, are the direct result of telling the truth about sex and standing up for the rights of women, children and parents. Family First stands shoulder to shoulder with Kirilee. We thank her for her courage and conviction in the face of extreme legal and cultural intimidation. She is not only standing for herself, she is standing for all of us. This is not an isolated case. Our own National Director, Lyle Shelton, is also being dragged through the courts by 2 LGBTQIA drag queens simply for opposing their indoctrination of children into gender-fluid ideology and radical LGBTQIA plus sexual expressionism at a public library event. His case, like Kirilee's, is a litmus test for whether free speech still exists in Australia. These injustices expose the cowardice of the major parties. Neither Liberal nor Labor politicians have lifted a finger to defend those who are being dragged through the courts for standing for the truth about gender. This is why Family First is working hard to get courageous people into Parliament who will fight for truth and freedom. The tide is turning overseas. The UK's CAS review has exposed the harms of beauty blockers being prescribed to gender-confused children, and sporting bodies are finally recognising that women's sport must be for women. But here in Australia, truth-tellers like Kirilee are punished, not praised. This must change. No one should be silenced or hauled before a court for defending biological reality. Family First will never stop defending freedom of speech and standing with brave Australians like Kirilee and Lyle. Enough is enough. Please help Kirilee fight for free speech, because they're coming for you and your family. It's free speech next. Yeah. I'm kind of a little sus, right? Because back 4 or 5 years ago, I was saying the same thing. Nobody came to arrest me, okay? I said the same thing. Men are not women. Can't be. But anyway, watching a movie. Yep, that's what makes me believe more and more. Matt Goodwin said people want control over their own country. This is not rocket science. Listen to this. Go, mate, I'm telling you. Seriously. This guy's got it. Let's have a listen.
Courts are putting foreign criminals ahead of British people.
What's the alternative?
I've told you.
Some sort of populist decision by people like you.
Populist decision.
Well, that's what you're saying.
I'm going to give you my alternative. Do you want to hear my alternative? Here's an alternative. We leave the European Convention on Human Rights. We reform the Human Rights Act. We have offshore processing, and we make it clear that we're going to put the British people ahead of foreign criminals and illegal migrants. If you put that before the British people, the vast majority of them will say, yes, actually, I want to live in a secure country. And if you continue to avoid this issue, here's what's going to happen. You won't just be looking at Runcorn and Helsby. Nigel Farage and Reform will take every seat in Labour's Red Wall. They will run through Wales next year, and you and I will be sat here, and you'll be saying, what about the economy? And I'll be saying, immigration matters. People want control.
Well said, mate. Okay. And BB had submitted to President Trump long ago, enjoy the show. And I'm pretty much sure I said that yesterday. Okay, so let's go through the comments. Oh, it was a 1 hour and 18 minutes worth of news this time. Okay, we got out to lunch, we got Sherry, we got Alex, Deb, Shannon. It's going to jump. I knew that was going to happen. When it pauses like that, I know it's going to jump. Well, let's get back as far as we can. Here we go. Okay, Randy said 27 degrees Celsius here, a bit of wind. Oh, nice. Out to lunch said giggity. Randy said, hey, Musk. Lucette said Kookaburra sits in an... Yep. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Love, Kookaburra gay your life must be. Yeah, because they're laughing all the time. That's an Aussie song, by the way, like an Aussie nursery rhyme nearly. Shannon says, speaking of ice, did you see the guy stealing sunglasses in a mall, then jumped down onto the ice, breaking his legs? No, I didn't see it there. Didn't see it. Randy said, humid here too. Zal, how you going? Out to lunch said, just got musky in here. Randy said, in my backyard outside. Menacing Muskrat said, hello, Randy, how you doing over there? Alex said, no, but that sounds like instant karma, Shannon. I didn't see what Shannon said. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, breaking his legs. Yes, I did. Alex said, no, but, sorry, I've read that one. Deb said, my girlfriend lost her mind when she came to get her massage. She thought I was joking over my new meter. Okay, Randy said, good. Sal said, it's clear the spear is here. Rod said, Muggy here in Missouri also. Oh, really? Out to lunch said, jump lol, at least he will be in hospital. Menacing Muskrat means F-U-C-K does mean fornication under the control of the king for real. Out to lunch said, Rod here too, northeast Mississippi. Deb said, hello, our menacing muskrat. Alex said, it's horrible when it's like this, eh, Rod? Shanna said, what does Adidas mean, Muskie? Alex said, it always seems hotter when it's muggy. It does. Yeah. When the humidity's high, it gets very uncomfortable. Sal said, NPCs are starting to lose it everywhere. Take note. Out to lunch said, Alex, yes, only a slight inconvenience. Alex said, we need a good storm to clear the air. Menacing Muskrat said, all day I dream about sports, Shannon. Randy said, watching birds, blue jays, cardinals, yellow finches, wrens, chickadees, doves, woodpecker and the odd falcon and hawk. Nice. Shannon say, I'm not going to read that, Shannon. We know you dream about that all day long. Rod said, Alex, love a good storm. Lucette said, so glad Trump is getting involved in the Lucy Connolly case. She's being manhandled by the screws in prison. She was dragged up 3 flights of stairs by the guards for no reason, bruises on wrists. Out to lunch said, Randy, seen an eagle last year. Or longer. Alex said, I saw an article today for another nationwide phone alarm for disasters. Thought, here we go, prepping us for the next pandemic war. I turned it off as they keep turning it back on my phone. Rod said, New York City, no desire at all to visit. Randy said, see them here too. Shannon said, if Obama had a son, Randy. Alex said, me too, not had one for ages, Rod. Rod said, Alex, been busy weather season so far here in Missouri. Randy said, summer started after solstice. Alex said, it's good, but he shouldn't have to. She shouldn't be in prison. They let loads of dangerous criminals and don't lock up others while going after low-hanging fruit for a tweet. Yeah, exactly. Rod said, Randy, longest day of the year. We just had our shortest day of the year. There you go. Alex said, it's a backwards world. Rod said, has become Alex. Lucette said, Alex, they are trying to break her and it's evil. Randy said, yes, I celebrate by going to Lakeside Park in Port Dalhousie. Did I say that right? Shannon said, where good is bad and bad is seen as good, end times, exactly. Yep, Zal, Canada stan, Australia stan and UK stan. Stan. Rod said, hanging out with my critters by the rivers is a calm place. Yes. Deb said, our leaders are weak. Yes, definitely. Hey, MRH, how you going? Lucette said, sodomy really is disgusting. Yes, it is. Out to lunch said, I'm ready for the Traders of America stamp series. Shannon said, saltwater crocodile, love people with that attitude. Yeah, Mob Rat Hunter said, it's a turnabout. It's not a roundabout, it's a turnabout. So you've got to keep turning and backing up. 3-point turns to get round the roundabout. Dear God. Rod said, out to lunch, would have to start collecting stamps again. Alex said, very strange road marking. Maybe there's a bigger picture from above. Maybe it's a knife or something. Shannon said, apply the handbrake force aggressively and you'll get around that. Yeah, you just got to, make sure you're sliding, right? So you drive up the first part and when you get to the end, you pull the handbrake on and you slide and turn around and then go up the second part. That's not going to cause any problems, will it? Deb said, vet costs so much more if an animal has cancer. Shannon said, no kings. Do you mean kings? Well, put it this way. I'd rather Trump was the king than Charles. I don't want to call him king. Rod said, Deb, have a great local vet here. Oh, you're lucky. Menacing Muskrat said, I stood in my yard with a bang because they wanted to test horses. To make a long story short, I still have my horses. Oh, good. Out to lunch said, if the chairs were reupholstered with the skin of the traitors, they might think hard about effing up. Lucette said, I don't want any royalty at all. I'm sick of them. Randy said, Trump bet Putin he could get them to call him king on his birthday. Trump won. There you go. Deb said, ask first. Shannon said, sauerkraut. Rod said, has become crazy, Hev? Yeah, I think it has. Out to lunch said, but you have to ask first. What? Shannon said, lol, nice one, out to lunch. Okay, I missed something there. Menacing Muskrat said, world has gone crazy, too many boosters. I think so. Deb said, they are retarded, our government. Yes, they are. Out to lunch said, I'm humbled by your compliment, Shannon. Thank you, lol. Deb said, it's all for entertainment purposes only. I always do it too late, don't I? Halfway through the stream, I'm going, by the way, everyone mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Lucette. Oh, my goodness. I can't read that comment. Deb said, just our opinion. Joanne said, hi all. She looks evil now. Shannon said, I saw what you did there, lol. Out to lunch said, we don't believe any of it, lol. Deb said, look at who is crazy. You know what they say about Tassie? Yeah, they say all Tasmanians are inbred, but, you know, I don't believe that. Maybe the politicians. They're inbreds. Alex said, she looks possessed with those eyes. Deb said, keeping it in the family. Lamb from Tassie. Joanne said, hey, Hev, nice to see you too. Rod said, lol, be funny if Trump ran as Vance's VP, wouldn't it? Alex said, I saw a video the other day where Billy Clinton was saying he didn't see any mental decline from Joe Biden. No, they can't. No, because they're in mental decline themselves. Shannon said, Rosie O'Donnell thinks Trump stole the election, but we all know how evil and always twist and invert things, yes, and blame others of that, which they have done. Projection, of course, Shannon. Deb said they are brainwashed. Rod said, hypocrisy at its best. Deb said that the men can go undetected. Lucette said, Hev, is that a kookaburra squawking outside? No, you'll know when it's a kookaburra because they go, oh, how do they go? Hev trying to make a sound of a kookaburra. Yeah, you hear them. That's the noise they make. They start with a coo and end with a car. Yeah. It's like they're laughing, okay? The ones that squawk are mostly the magpies. So they're black and white. Shannon said tariffs work. Deb said yes, so can the police flashing lights at night make me feel odd. Look, anytime I see police with flashing lights, I'm like, what did I do? Even if I did nothing wrong, I'm still going. I was on the phone to my son last night. He was on his way home from work. And he said, oh, police, oh, no. He goes, I don't know if they're for me. I don't know if I did something wrong. He said, I don't think I did. Anyway, they end up flying straight past him. But it does. It makes everybody on the road uneasy when those flashing lights start, mate. Alex said, makes me feel really uneasy. Loads of criminal men have used those to escape. Deb said, birds singing for Hev to give her an Aussie feel. Yeah, there you go. Lucette said, Alex, yes, those garments should be banned. Alex said, I think they already banned them in France and some other countries, Lucette. Yeah, they should ban them here in Australia. Shannon said, Andy McNabb calls them pepper pots. Yeah. I've heard people call them, what were they, post boxes or something? You know the old red English letterboxes? Yeah. Those type of things. Out to lunch, we have kookaburras here. They look like porcupine... cockaburs here. They look like porcupine seeds. My little brother would freak when I teased him so much. Deb said, what a stain the week leader has done to the countries. Yep, exactly. Hey, Dolores, how you going? Lucette said, Alex, good. At least that's something good France has done. Also, they blocked Pornhub too, which is good. Well done. Alex said, agreed. All now really unsafe and going down the pan, Deb. Lucette said, Shannon, did you know that Andy McNabb was killed in Ukraine during the first months of the war? He was working as a mercenary, trying to blow up a railway track. Alex said, oh, good, lots of trafficking going on that website and illegal child abuse. Disgusting, Lucette. Yeah, Pornhub and all them. Yeah, there is heaps of trafficking. Shannon said, should have known he's not a boy soldier anymore and he should know that the Russians are the good guys in this and you shouldn't poke the bear. Lucette said, Alex, I can't understand why anyone can think Pornhub is good for humanity. It's evil. Yeah, well, our government are trying to, limit social media for under 16s, but hey, Pornhub's still accessible. Deb said they have to face God when they pass over. Good luck with facing God with the evil done to God's most precious children. Lucette said, Shannon, yep, he was fighting against the wrong side. Alex said, yes, this world has become so depraved and so many people are just apathetic. No wonder it's gotten so bad. Shannon said, deep state, but he did work for MI6, which are evil as well. Deb said, free will is only while on this planet. There's a price to pay when you pass over. Oh, Joanne, your computer's playing nice today. Oh, well, very interesting then. Yeah, it could have been them. Yeah. Menacing Muskrat said, Potter is a master troller. He is. And yeah, I was that was the one thing I was going to say yesterday was that, is there any possibility that he's doing the same thing that he did to Epstein and Bill Clinton with this post? But I completely forgot and went on some rant about how all Israelis are not bad, you know. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, bit of a big brain fart there yesterday. Okay, I got a cough again. Hang on. Lucette said, Alex, and the weird thing is there are women who enjoy all the violence and degradation of women and so much hardcore pornography. What's going on in their minds? Exactly. Alex said, yes, we're slowly reaching the point of no return. The evil of this world will pay for their crimes one way or the other, Deb. Well, did you see Trump's post that said the precipice at the beginning here somewhere? I find the wording very interesting. And you know they don't say things without meaning in it. Where was that post? It's here somewhere, and he said it. Where is it? It's in there somewhere. Here we are. It's one big beautiful bill. We're on the precipice. I am pretty sure he did not put that in by mistake. Okay? That's just what I think. Joanne said, Lou said, I don't know. All I come up with is money. Mrs. Out to Lunch said, hey, how you going, Mrs. Out to Lunch? Hello, Heaven All Chat family. I'm at home with Fred. Much love to all. Wanted to give you a thumbs up. Thank you, Mrs. Out to Lunch. Fred loves Donna and Donna loves Fred. Shannon said, playing the black card, but Trump wins with the Trump card. Yep. Lisette said, Joanne, I mean, there's women who watch violent porn and love it. I think they must be mentally ill. Yes, definitely. Yep, I agree too. Alex said, I know, it's disgusting. It's becoming a trend to sleep with as many men as possible and being proud of it too. Even getting seriously injured and processed makes me sick, Lou said. Yeah, it's like Bonnie Blue and all the other morons that follow her. Deb said, let's call it venom poison. Lucette said, Alex, yes, the world's gone mad. Deb said, death becomes her as a new look-like celebrity nowadays. Out to Lunch said, Komodo dragon venom, I think I've heard Ozempic. Joanne Nelson said, what the fuck, can we report them? Deb said, that would explain a lot. Out to Lunch. Alex said, I heard something like that. It's basically eating anyone that takes it alive and will continue to shut down their organs till they're gone. Some of these celebs look awful. Lucette said she's trying to help illegal immigrants stay in America. Illegal. Yeah, exactly. Shannon said, reported to ICE, aiding and abetting. I reckon, definitely. Should be. The LA Times, that's what they're doing, that lady. Alex said, climate schlimate. Schmeimet, sorry. Shannon said climate change is a scam, the invisible boogeyman. Yes, exactly. Deb said bend over for your COVID test. Lucette said Alex, climate change. Schlange. Alex said something is definitely eating away at their brains, maybe something they took in the last 5 years. Deb said they got dropped off. Shannon said the protesters are paid central casting. Yes. Yeah, menacing muskrat. Too many boosters have. Alex said brains, no brains. Shannon said crowd strike. Alex said yes, menacing muskrat. Deb said it's like they put letters in a hat and made up some Australia's names. Yeah, I think so. I don't know where they're coming up with these stupid names. I've never heard of any of them. Shannon said, yeah, and go and fart in their ventilation shafts. Alex said, I was going to say, looks like nice food, Hev. Shannon said this would be illegal in Australia. Yeah, see, all the little freaking red tape and bullshit bureaucrats making up stupid rules. You got to get a lot of these people out of government. Deb said, when it was said the useless eaters, you now know what they mean. Yeah, that club. Yep. Out to lunch, said Deb, really, didn't Clinton coin the phrase? Alex said, I think they're all bracing us for some sort of war. It's been trickling in for the last few weeks. They couldn't control a lot of the people during COVID. Now people won't believe it this time. Alex said, it's all games to them. They can't stand being not in control of us, so they'll do whatever it takes, including saying we're all now in war. I will never conform. Yep. Deb said, just sad, see the young so lost. Yes, it is, isn't it? Shannon said, AOC came from an affluent neighbourhood. Yep. What's the other word? Effluent neighbourhood? No, she did. She had money. Her parents had money. Wasn't AOC a barmaid or barmaid? I don't know. Was she really? She might have been a barmaid, but she had rich parents. Black Hat Music said, I apologise for being late. God love you. Out to lunch said 29 degrees Celsius, 85 Fahrenheit. There you go. Everyone's saying hello to Black Hat Music. Lucette said, Bernie Sanders, I've seen photos of him in the 60s with a group of young men harassing black women who are just walking down the road. He likes to portray himself as a friend to the black communist community. Yeah, he likes to portray himself as a friend to them, yeah. Not really, he's a communist. Deb said, yes, it's true, no sleep. You act like you're drunk, yep. Shannon said, date, rape, drug, lol. That's what they called it, demonise it. Yes, exactly. Flyby Shoe said, thanks, Hev, good night. Good night, Flyby. Thank you for joining us. Alex said, good on her taking it off. She looks stunning in her beautiful hair. She does, doesn't she? And she's dressed modestly. She's not dressed like, half clothed or anything. It still reminds me of the Iranian ladies before Islam came in there. Shannon said, true lies. No, no, no. What? Do eat? What? Lucette said, how's Kai going? I haven't seen him on here for a while. I hope he's all right. Yeah, I hope Kai's okay, man. Kai, we're thinking of you. God love you. Alex said, never too late, Black Hat. Deb said, yes, men need to control the women because they can't control themselves. Exactly. Yes, Deb, hope Kai's okay. Lucette said, Deb, exactly, they are animals. Deb said, miraculous healing, 24-hour COVID. Yes, exactly. Joanne said, that's not Albo, he's not that tall. Yeah, funnily enough, I thought he was shorter than that, He looked pretty tall compared to Zelensky. Deb said, easy access. Joanne said, that's the last meal. Shannon said, Albo, you're drunk. Alex said, looks like Albo and Zelensky are about to do cha-cha, slide it up their noses. Yeah, Deb, short man syndrome. Joanne said, it's a saying, your last meal is lobster. Yep, his last meal, bring it on. Ah, let's hope so. Deb said, it's all going to blow back into Albo's face. Shannon said, Albo about to do a piano duet with Zelensky. Yes, with their PPs. Alex said, did anyone see that woman at NATO tweaking out on TV? They must have all done a massive line or two. Oh, that was Giorgia Meloni, wasn't it, from Italy? I did see that. I was wondering what was going on there. Hang on, let me see. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, people think she's on coke. Okay. Tony said Giorgia Meloni at the NATO summit in The Hague, Netherlands on June 25th, 2025. Look at her eyes. What did she take? Cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, MDMA, LSD, fentanyl, ketamine, or just not enough rest? Such a shame because I liked her. What if she was drugged? Do you not think someone could have put something in her drink? I'm just asking. I'm playing devil's advocate here. Okay, I don't know. Ready for it?
Buonasera. Si conclude un vertice importante, tanto chiaramente per gli impegni. Un messaggio molto importante, mi pare di avervi detto tutto.
Però non c'era stata la reazione di Trump.
Su una politica espansiva.
Presidente, ma noi come faremo a produrre proiettili, carri armati?
Non mi pare che risolviamo grandi problemi.
L'opposizione diceva che l'Italia avrebbe potuto fare come la Spagna, no?
Presidente, mi scusi, con il Presidente Trump è riuscito a parlare ieri sera anche del tema dazi?
Si chiude al 10% i dazi. Tajani ha detto che va bene così, lei è d'accordo?
Impegnatissima per ottenere questo risultato.
Aumenti sostenibili, ha detto l'Italia, però parliamo comunque di circa 100 miliardi in 10 anni, così è il calcolo, tra sicurezza e difesa.
Il Parlamento, lei deve rafforzare la colonna europea.
Sì.
It is cut. This film clip is cut. A lot. So did they just get her facial expressions and put them all in one video to make it look like that? I don't know. I'm just asking. Hang on, I got a cough. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I know that clip was cut to the shit house. It was cut severely. So I'm wondering, did someone just cut the bits where her eyes were rolling around, stick it all together, and that's what it looks like? Okay. Shannon said Albo loves that. Lucette said, Alex, I didn't see that, but I can imagine it. Well, you just saw it then. Shannon said she told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. David, how you going? From WA, welcome to Wonderland. Exactly. How you going, David? Good to see ya. Sal said Albo's a bunch of sticks. Yes, he is. Lucette says, Zal, I see what you did there. Oh, jumped. Hey, MRE, how you going? Good to see ya. God save England. I agree. Where was I up to? Down here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know about Giorgia Meloni. I think that clip has been cut, and she might have been rolling her eyes at reporters. You know how Trump feels about reporters. You know, I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Deb said, so when you're just bone, the archaeology is going to find two sexes. Yes. Sal said, Hev, depends whereabouts in society. Kira Lee made that comment in the power of the offended parties to pursue her. Deb said, not mental illness. And MRE come in, said, hit the like. Thank you, MRE. Shannon said, Kookaburra gave gay lives because they love to eat snakes. Okay, that one went over my head, Shannon. David said, to offend a strong person, tell a lie. To offend a person, tell them the truth. Yep. David said, to offend a weak person, tell them the truth. Yes. Mobratz said, muggy in New England. Oh, it's muggy over there too, is it? Shannon said, truth hurts. Deb saying hello to MRE. Alex said, I tried to send it to Hev's DMs on Twitter, but I can't find the button. It's under RWA podcast on Twitter. Scroll down a bit. She's obviously taken something. Alex said, see if you can find it under that name, Hev. I've already found it. MRE said the monarchy will be over in 15 years when the Islamic faith rules England. Yes, well, apparently King Charles has become a Muslim, or he's with the Muslims, you know. So it does not surprise me. I'd rather Trump as a king than friggin' Charles. Black Hat Music said, MRE, good to see you, pal. Yeah, MRE said, God save England. Black Hat, my bro. No more wars, amen. Yes, exactly. Black Hat Music said, this was a great show here. MRE, oh, Hev is good people. God love you. Thank you. God bless you, MRE. You are a good person too. Can't believe what's happened to you over the last few weeks. God love you. Stay strong. Black Hat Music said, absolutely, 100%. David said, great to see you too, Alex. Not trying to keep up so much lately. Video titles often contain all you need to see. The garage is more fun. Oh, dear. Deb said, yes, we got it right today, Alex. MRE said, our leaders are bought or blackmailed, yes. Alex said, oh, bless you in your garden with the birds, David. Yep, and MRH was here as well. Zal said, Ponce Charles, perhaps? Yeah, I got a cough again. Sorry, guys. A lot less coughing going on over here today, but, you know, still happening. David said, indeed, Alex Garden is lovely at this time of year when it isn't raining anyway. Have a few nice sunny ones at the moment. Cold night, though. Deb said, illegitimate family are the Windsor. Yeah, well, they were the Saxe-Coburg, Saxe-Coburg, you know, that they came from Germany, the royal family. And I heard many years ago that Prince Charles had to marry Princess Diana because she has more royal blood than he does. Alex said, Jimmy's Savile's best mate, and he had full run of Buckingham Palace. Makes you wonder what he had over Charlie. Yep. Alex said, oh, yeah, it's your winter. At least you don't change the clocks. Won't be long before it's summer again. Time is speeding up, David. Yes, our clocks will go forward in a few more months in October. Again, we'll go forward an hour. Deb said, at least at some point you make the statement it's for entertainment purposes only. Yes. I managed to remember somewhere along the way most of the time. Menacing Muskrat said this is a few years back, but the government was testing horses for West Nile virus and the horses tested positive. The herd would be put down. I stood in the yard. They tried several times. Good on you, Menacing Muskrat. Don't let them. Deb said, I'm glad you know what I meant. Shannon said, crows say fark. Black Hat Music said, for one thing, you're on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, I get told that a lot. I had someone go, get on the other side of the road. What are you doing? Oh, dear. Deb said, my bird is going off. Wow, probably responding to the birds outside here. Cough again, God. That's it, Muskrat. Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Yep. Shannon said, well, your steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car, Black Hat Music. Yeah, our steering wheels are also on the opposite side of the car than America. And so we drive on the opposite side of the road than America as well. So I'd have trouble if I went to America I'd have to, like, do a few test runs first in a, you know, absolutely deserted area so I don't hit anyone. Because you do get very used to driving on the left side of the road, let me tell you right now. Just like Americans are used to driving on the right side. Shannon said, no wonder you can't drive stick. Oh. Yeah, but they've got it on the other side, Shannon. They can. David said, no kidding, Alex. It's more than just the apparency that comes with scale of more years. I think it's actually speeding up. David said, West Aussies hate clock changes. They tried to foist it onto us more than once. That's right. You don't have the time change, do you? I wish we didn't. Alex said, yes, definitely. Even children are feeling it. It's not about getting older. Each month seems like 2 weeks now, David. Menacing said, thumbs it up, Hevites. Thank you very much. Alex said, wish none of us changed the clock. Always messes me up for a while, and I think it's designed to. Everybody goes by the time instead of enjoying living in the moment, David. Well, it does. It also, more people have heart attacks when the clocks change, believe it or not. Very weird. David said, I know, Alex, something cosmic is happening and nothing can stop what's coming. Exactly. Alex said, I can't wait, David. Menacing said, have you seen Kathy Griffin? Wow, adrenochrome. Yeah, she doesn't look good. David said, most people are too slow in the uptake to notice what's not on their smartphones these days. Alex said, the pendulum is finally swinging back the other way, David. I think it is. It's going to swing back hard too. David said, it is, Alex, although I've said for a long time that when it gets to the middle point, someone should the pendulum off its stalk to stop it ever swinging again. Tie it up to the right side. Menacing Muskrat said the world's finally awakening. Took a while, but we're finally here. We're witnessing some incredible times. We are. Alex said, get them all out. We need to have a complete change of the corporate governments that have done nothing but destroy our countries and ruin people's lives and livelihoods. I agree. David said, meant to say, shoot the pendulum, end the boom and bust, end the endless, end the stupidity. I agree. Deb said, in the movie Crack, the old man would say, fark in crows, very funny. Crack in Irish is a laugh. Shannon said, that was Kath and Kim that wanted to be effluent. That's right, yes. Effluent. Alex said, good night, take care, God bless, see you soon, flyby. Alex said, I think Kai said he has to drive places now at the same time as the live. Sending him and Tony love, God bless. Definitely. Lots of love for Kai and Tony, and I hope you're all right over there. Dev's put a, what is it? A black spot. Looks like a bowling ball nearly, except are there holes in it? I don't know. Shannon said, look at me, look at me. Yep. Come here, look at me, look at me. The last visit POTUS made to the Middle East, and their women had their hair loose and waving their hair for Trump's visit. That was really something. Yes, and it should. That's what I think Trump's doing. He's going, like, it's up to the people of Iran to elect their own leaders, but the military has taken over, and apparently they are in contact with Trump. So we'll see what happens, but I believe they are going to be liberated where they can take the hijabs off. Or what are they freaking called? I don't even know anymore. Those stupid black freaking postman outfits. Zal said Italian PM might have been slipped something, or she's seeing the overlay of all the media ghouls. Yeah, I think something's going on there, Zal. I don't think she's a drug taker. I really don't. Alex said, that's the one. I didn't know her name, though. I think she thought she was acting normal. I think they're all on drugs. Well, she's the... her and Trump get along really well. And she's on the right side. Okay, where was I up to? Hang on a sec, guys. Okay. Shannon says she's seeing things that normally cats can see. Joanne says she's spitting out, poor girl. She wiped her nose. She's done it, wow. Sal said, that's what I just said, Shannon. Lucette said, menacing, yes, the long hair worn loose symbolises freedom. Menacing Muskrat said, indeed, Lucette. Shannon said, it's like I'm reading your mind. Zal must be on the same frequency. Alex said, her dealer Zelensky turned up to give her a few lines of ket. Shannon said, K-hole. I don't know what that is. Zal said, you must be watching the same stuff, Shannon. Davis said, good catch up with you too, Hev. I'm surviving in a mad world. Reckon you probably do the same. Good work, girl. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Deb said, eating snakes. Shannon said, sing the Kookaburra song. I did. Lucette said, thankfully the king is terminally ill. Alex said, is Georgia supposed to be one of the good ones? I don't really know who she is. Yeah, she's the Prime Minister of Italy. She's supposed to be on the right side. A right-leaning conservative. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not claiming to know, but I'm just inserting that could it be that she has been drugged at the NATO summit. Menacing Muskrat said the royals say they can take their family trees back to Muhammad and Jesus Christ. Wow. Lucette said, Alex, yes, she's on the side of Trump. Yep, Saxe-Coburg Gotha. That's it. Shannon said, Zal, did you see the one with the red red night vision goggles that soldiers could see demons. Oh, no. Lucette said, Shannon, really? Alex said, yes, German. There is a famous picture of the Queen and her parents doing the Nazi salute. Yes. Alex said, yes, I've seen or heard about that, Shannon. Sal said, yes, I've seen that, Shannon. It was when they were first testing the first-gen goggles. Deb said, yes, America drives on the wrong side of the road. Alex said, remember the reporting saying the Queen was trapped or something like that? I do remember that. Deb said, I can stick. Yes, I can drive a manual, we call them here, a stick shift in the US. I can drive one, and I prefer them, actually. I have more control over the car. If you tend to sort of lose brakes, you can slow the car down with a manual stick shift, whatever you want to call it. Easier. Shanna said, type Vietnam demons into YouTube. Yeah, I will. I don't know if I can do it on here, though. Shannon, can you remind me when we go to Rumble? Because I'll be able to play the YouTube clip on Rumble, but I don't know if I can play it here. Sal said, in my opinion, driving on the side the US drive on affects the opposite side of the brain. Oh, dear. Alex said, oh, I didn't know, Lucy. How about we all just drive down the middle of the road and then we'll be pranging everywhere. Accidents everywhere. Alex said, I just saw the video and thought it looked like she had taken something, Lucette. Deb said, yes, Tim Air can explain why later about daylight savings on the body. Yes, it does. It puts it out. Lucette said, Shannon, so the royals look like demons through night vision goggles? Zal said, yes, I've seen it. I forget the old fat guy telling the story about it. He was a friend or he'd worked with Duncan Cameron's Philadelphia experiment. Shannon said, royals are lizards. Queen is a lizard's birth. Up. Where was I up to? Here somewhere. Menacing Muskrat said, clock change screws up your circadian rhythm. The body's natural clock gets fucked up. Yeah, exactly. Zal said, Etamines is the correct name for the reptilian nasties. Yeah, as I said before, I don't believe in reptilians until I can see one with my own eyes, you know, and walk up and actually poke it because I don't trust holographic images either. Deb said, much love to all that are not here today. Alex said, I think this will maybe be the last swing of the pendulum. Yep. Menacing Muskrat said, burkas. Yep. A burka, that's right. Deb said, snap menacing. Deb said, Shannon's being rude. I was. Menacing said, Hev, how was your granddaughter's visit? No, that's today. I've got to go get her today and I won't be here tomorrow. Shannon said, a K-hole is what you fall into when taking the drug ketamine. It feels like you're sinking through the floor. Oh. Well, see, I don't know, because I've never had that shit. Don't want to have that shit either. Menacing Muskrat said that was back in World War I, right, Shannon, the red goggles? Zal said those being seen in the goggles were all there for the feeding of the loosh. Deb said we have an American car dealer here and the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the road. Oh, you get that every now and then. You do see American cars driving in Australia with their steering wheels on the wrong side of the car, yep. But, hey, you know, if they can do it, they can do it. Sal said you won't get to see one now, Hev. They've been removed. Oh, have they? Okay, well, with that, guys, I've got to go and pick up my granddaughter. So I will not be here tomorrow, but the next day, which is my Monday, your Sunday, and hopefully Timmer can join us. And I've got to remember to message him. Zal said plenty of effigies still around. Well, there you go. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, guys. Bye.